Welcome to the Stronger Together podcast brought to you by Sandpoint Strength and Conditioning. I'm your coach, Kenny Marquardt. Today I'm having my lovely roommate and wife, Jenn Marquardt, on to talk about summer. What it's like to have your kids at home with you, wreaking havoc on your schedule, your refrigerator, and all of the things that you liked as a routine in spring. So we're going to give you some solutions, and I hope you enjoy it. First, don't forget, you can get 15% off of your supplement order at Momentous Supplements, website livemomentous.com, discount code Sandpoint Strength, all one word. Enjoy. Hello, my lovely wife.
Hi, husband. How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
You've already presented to many people this afternoon.
It's my third hour of talking, so we'll see what comes out.
This will be good. Maybe we'll get you to that torture level of like exhaustion where you'll say anything. It'll be great.
It'll be great. I mean, I am an extrovert, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'd be dead.
You.
All right, so what we wanted to talk about today was summertime and how to handle the irregularity that comes with kids being out of school, the lovely weather, events, all the above. I just kind of talked through how we are handling it, how we recommend handling it, and hopefully shed some light on how to make this your best summer ever. Right?
I love it. Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about those little monsters that invade our homes, and once they're out of free daycare for the next 10
school.
weeks. Right.
By the way, it's like so more than 10 weeks. I think it's 12.
I didn't have you on here to do math. But anyways, I think that the reality of that is hard. Like, you know, they're, especially as entrepreneurs and people who work from home and people who are driven, who I think are most of our audience, like it's definitely a change of pace when you go from having 6 to 7 hours of free, quiet house time to 0 quiet hours of house time.
Waking up with Dude Perfect playing in the background of our house.
Right. And so then the schedule shifts, and then I think the guilt as a parent of wanting to enjoy the summer with your kids, it kind of throws everything out of whack.
Yeah.
And you want to balance the indulgence of going and doing and ice cream days and whatever with the fact that like you can't just take the next 3 months off of your fitness and routine or your work in order to placate a fantasy land for your children, at least in my opinion.
No, totally agree. And I've been trying to think this summer too about what that's teaching our kid, right? Of like, you know, even when you have free time, you still need like some structure and routine.
Yeah, totally. So go on about that. Tell us more.
Well, I think one of the things that we'll just dive into like kind of how we're handling it. And again, like we don't have any like science to back up what we're doing, but it seems to be working so far. We included him. We have a weekly meeting. And we included him in like the first weekly meeting that we did last week. And we set some summer expectations and like wrote a list down. And some of these things are things that like help our family, right? And support our family. And then other things are things that help him move forward. He's 11, right? Going into 6th grade. I believe, and I know Kenny believes, like this is the time for him to start to learn a little bit more like routine and structure and using his free time, not all of it, but some of it in a way that's like productive towards his goals and where he wants to go. And so we set some kind of boundaries around that of like non-negotiables for every day. And I said to him, I like looked him straight in the eye and I was like, I'm not going to argue with you about these things. These are not things that are like up for negotiation. They're not things that are like up for you, like arguing with me about like doing less of it. Like this is just what happens. And then like once you are done with these things, then you get to go do whatever you want with the day. We can go fishing, we can go to the beach, like whatever you want. But I feel like we're teaching him how to like set and maintain priorities even when a season looks different than another.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that that's probably the most important thing that we can teach him is what happens when you have the autonomy to make your own choices, whether it's business or fitness or life or relationships, like making the right choice regardless of who's telling you to do so. Or if there's nobody telling you to do so, like that's the most important thing. And I think summer is that example, especially like as he gets older, that, hey man, like you still have to do these things. And then afterwards, who cares? Do whatever you want. Like you said, I'm just trying to sum that up. But I think we got in trouble from school because we took him on vacation. Not a vacation. We took him on a trip to go see other countries. And turns out that was outside of the norm of the factory training of our kids where they sit in a desk for 8 hours a day. That was outside of the norm. And you know, we said, well, listen, the point of this whole thing is not to train a kid to sit like a dog for 8 hours and repeat commands. It's so that they can learn, like, and if he can go and he can get his work done, whether we're in Spain or we're at home during the summer, who cares? He's doing the thing. So I think the same thing applies whether it's, during the summertime. It's like, hey, kid, do your stuff and then go play. Right?
Yeah, and I feel, even though we did get in trouble from the school system about it, like I felt really good about what we were teaching him because he needs to understand how to manage his time outside of a schedule. Like that's a skill that he's going to need to have as an adult, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought that was powerful, and I loved seeing him be able to be productive and still learn in any environment.
And it wasn't without struggle. Like we had a couple hard conversations about like, look, buddy, if you don't do this, like you failed, not failed, but you are proving to everybody that you are not capable of leaving the constructs of school, because when you make your own decisions, you're making the wrong ones. And that was because, he'd wake up and he'd screw around and then he'd be mad because he couldn't go and do whatever. And so the lesson was learned, or we had to echo that thing of get your stuff done, then nobody can bother you. And I think that translates over to the overarching point of this talk, is that the same thing applies. Like you still, no matter what the season is, and we'll talk about how it might look different, but you still need to do your stuff. Like you still need to check your boxes so that then you've earned yourself the right to make looser decisions after the good ones, right? Like if exercise, do your stuff in the morning. If you're able to spend the time with your kids during the day, but you now have to take care of them, like go do some sort of fitness thing in the morning, eat good breakfast, eat good lunch, make good decisions first. And then later on, you've earned now the right to be a little looser on the things that are happening. And if you make them a priority in the beginning, then you've already set yourself up for success for later.
Yeah. So two of the things I find with working with clients that are really important in these sorts of like seasons, holidays and summer tend to be these, are one, realistic expectations, right? So a realistic expectation of what this season looks like, what your expectation for yourself is, right? Based on your capacity, based on what your life looks like. And then the second, so realistic expectation. And then the second is digging into the why the habit makes you, like how it makes you feel, right? So if we can separate from just like, oh, it's the thing I do because I have to do it, or it's the thing I do because I'm trying to lose weight or whatever, and we get into like, wait, my morning workout, what is that giving me? Right? Like, how is that helping me show up better for all these people that are in my house now? How is that helping me like manage the stress of a season that feels a lot more out of control? Right? So like digging into the like, what is that thing going to give you? And then secondly, like a realistic expectation, because I feel like a lot, like what happens is people don't forward think, right? They just kind of think about like, oh, well, if I go to the gym 5 days a week in the winter, then I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week in the summer, right? And then the second they start like missing that goal, right? Or like not hitting it, we can get into this, if we haven't worked through this, like kind of this all or nothing thinking of like, well, I already missed the gym today, and so maybe I'm going to miss it tomorrow. And we all of a sudden let that habit like slide way more than we want to, when really if we had like looked ahead and said, what is my capacity for the summer? And how do I want to adjust my expectation to like still move the needle, but do it in a way that gives me the like flexibility to like go for that mountain bike ride with my kid or go for a boat ride on an evening, right? Then we have a realistic like goal that we're setting for the summer that's appropriate for the season that we're in.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, it's really not uncommon. We could probably make just replay our talk about the holidays right now. You're just wearing less clothes. Maybe some of you still wear a sweater and turn on the fire when it's 78 degrees out.
It's who I am.
So, yeah, I mean, like you just said, one of the things that drives me nuts is when people quit the gym in the summer. And the amount of times that I see them come back is, I don't know, 30% of the time, maybe. Sometimes people get in a good routine. And like, if you're that person, don't let me derail you. I'm a very seasonal type person too, but I often see the people who are not, like they're not in a routine. This is not something they've done over and over and over and over again. Like, not to like put myself on a high horse, but I do the same things every season. I do the same thing every of the repeat season, if that makes any sense. You
have a spring routine, a fall
yeah,
routine.
there you go. Exactly. But I don't see that for some of the, like, we are a coaching business. We typically are holding people accountable and trying to get them on a routine and a practice. And that person, no offense to them, it's just that's probably not the most refined skill in their toolbox. They should not be taking time off. They can take a lighter schedule. Even if they come once a week, it's still like you're on the horse. If you fully get off that horse for 3 months, you're probably going to talk yourself out of it. It's just too hard.
100%.
You just feel like you're too frustrated. And I've done this with Spanish for the last like 10 years, so I know what this is like. Where I tell myself I'm going to learn Spanish every year. I do it for like 3 months before our trip, and then I say, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm going to keep practicing my Spanish. And guess what doesn't happen? Spanish. So I take all the time off. I start over 8 weeks before this stupid trip, and then I suck butts at Spanish again. And this was the year I finally like just committed. I just kept doing it. And it wasn't perfect. Like I've had seasons where I've had to spend that time working on a presentation or learning or some other aspect after our trip when it's so distant. I can't tell you when the next time I'll need to speak Spanish is, but it's an important thing in my future. And so maybe I've missed weeks at a time, like multiple weeks in a row, but that's okay. Like I haven't canceled my subscription. Like I still have the thing, and I'm going to start again in the beginning of July once their season's over.
Well, I'm going to say something that'll be uncomfortable for people to hear here, but if you feel like you're never, like year over year, you're kind of staying in the same spot, right? You're not like making any real progress. I would probably be looking at how often you're like taking breaks, right? Like how often you're doing things like that, like quitting or starting and stopping. And the real change happens in those margin spaces.
Totally.
So it happens from, instead of just like saying I can't do anything, what can I do, right? Like how could I show up this summer 20% better than I showed up last summer, right? And then just do that. But that's gonna that momentum and that consistency builds. And that's what makes a difference.
Yeah, it does. Like for any aspect, like you said, it's in the margins where the difference is, because everybody can do fitness in whatever, March, April.
Yeah.
That's the easiest time of the year. You do it in your sleep. There's nothing going on. Can't ski. The weather's not nice enough. You know summer's coming. You get excited about it. It's easy. And then it starts to get nice. Summer, or you might do it or late spring or early summer trip. Then the kids are out of school, and guess what happens? Then it's fall. You get back on the horse in September and October, and then you quit in November, December. You might haphazardly start in January because it's what you do, but it probably doesn't stick because there's nothing on the horizon to motivate you because you're still dressed like a freaking penguin for the next 3 months.
And if you add all of that time up, you're looking pretty easily at like 30 to 40% of your time.
At least.
And here's how I can speak about this so honestly. That's what I used to do all the time.
For sure.
And I never saw progress. Always like I did enough that I felt like, oh, well, I am a person who works out, right? But like my body never changed. My results never changed. I never actually gained any strength. I wasn't actually being consistent. And this is where you have to be like honest with yourself. Like, consistency isn't perfection, but it's also more than 60% of the time.
And you've been on, I'm going to celebrate you for a second. I'll have to edit this part out. But for being in the seasons that you've had, like this is the most fit you've been. I think it's the best you've ever looked. And like that's because of your consistency. Like you've been doing it through the seasons, and that's been a big priority for you, is to just get in the garage or get in the gym and do the thing, even if it's not amazing. Like you've had more dedication over the last, 6 months or so. The fall was obviously not the prime time for that for you, but the last 6 months, like you've had so much dedication towards getting your steps in or getting your workout in, and it shows, and that's amazing.
Well, and I think it's a skill that I've been developing over the last 7 years, and so, yeah, the fall. And the truth is, we talked about this a little bit when that period of time happened, was like, the reason I was able to maintain and not like totally tank everything I'd worked for during a season that was really incredibly stressful was because I had really built consistency and worked on consistency for a super long time. Right. Yeah. And so that season came, it was what it was. I did what I could do. But the second I started to come out of the grief fog or whatever we want to call it, right? I was so excited to get back to the habits that I'd worked so hard to build.
Yeah.
right? Like it felt so easy and I didn't fall back into the old version of myself. And that was something I had been very concerned about, like that was something you and I talked about a lot during the period of like, I'm scared I'm going to go backwards, but I didn't because I had spent so much time building consistency prior.
Yeah. And then you have earned the right to do kind of what I said before, where there are times like I don't work out at all traditionally. Like I'm during hunting, like depending on what kind of hunt I'm doing or what month it is or whatever, like there's times I won't work out for 6 weeks in a traditional sense. But I'll go do the thing. I'll hike and I'm obviously staying I'm not just sitting on the couch.
You're saying active.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. But I have sort of earned the right to do that, I think. And so, and again, earning that season, like I have no doubts that like, okay, well, I usually start back in the gym in November because deer hunting is has much less physical exertion required. So get back in the gym November, December, regain my strength. January, I start doing a lot more conditioning and strength. I do the same thing every single year, and I have for like probably 15 at least. Well, I guess now because I haven't been hunting that long, but same thing applies, more or less.
But I think the point there is that you are consistent in the moving of your body and the expression of physical fitness, right? That's the important piece, right? Like it's okay if in the summer you change your ratio, right? If you go from 4 times a week of strength in the winter and like a little bit of like outdoor cardio to in the summer, like 4 days a week of outdoor like adventuring and a little less strength. The issue is when you stop doing everything completely because of the season.
Yeah. So let's practically for people let's bring this back around to a couple of avatars for the summer. How about that?
I love that.
So you're a parent, your kids are at home, your primary job is taking care of the kids. So now your life has been flipped upside down. You used to work out while the kids are in school. What do you do now? What's the plan? How do you handle this?
Well, I think there's 2 options here. One is the mornings are guaranteed. And for me in the summertime, I want to get in and get out of the gym and get it done so that I can free up that space later on in the day to go adventure with my kiddo. So I really like in the wintertime, I'll work out sometimes in the afternoon. I flex my schedule. In the summer, I really try and stay in that morning so that I can do both things, right? And a lot of times the morning before your kids wake up is like the most guaranteed time that you're going to get, right? It's the time that you can like carve out on your own. So I would be looking at a morning workout, or I'd be looking at involving your kids in some way too. One of the things I talk about with clients all the time is like we use our kids as the reason or the excuse for why we can't. And it's 100% the reason why we should, because modeling of those habits, behaviors, boundaries, consistency, like all of those things is the like number one indicator that your child is going to be healthy and like have those same tools when they go through seasons like that. So trying to figure out a way to like show them that consistency and show them that dedication so they think it's really normal in their own life. Does that answer? I don't know.
Yeah, it does. I think I 1,000,000% agree with the modeling. I think involving your kids I'm skeptical on that for certain ages.
Yeah.
Like if you have a 6-year-old who has been in kindergarten or first grade and now they're at home and you're going to I think trying to involve them in a workout is going to be a recipe for murdering somebody. Again, I think that you could probably paint a fantasy picture of putting on Barney workouts and you're all going to like work out in the living room and do whatever. It's just not going to like that. But one of you is going to be miserable.
I mean, kudos to you for pulling out Barney because that is one that I have not thought about in a while. Okay, so there might be somewhere that resonates with them. Like, okay, so
Yeah,
what do you
the
think?
one weirdo.
You give me okay.
I think no. I mean, again, I think that's a great fantasy. If it works for you, God bless you. You have created a much more like harmonious home where everybody is just holding hands and all working in synchronicity towards whatever it is. I think the kids wake up, they want to do something. And I think what I'm trying to lead you to is I think it's okay. Again, this is a real answer.
Yeah.
Is that I think it's okay to give your kid, they deserve some sort of morning ritual wake up time. Like we very consistently permitted Garrison between 30 minutes and an hour of digital screen time in the mornings as like kind of a wake up routine that allows us the bandwidth for which that he gets to do his thing. We get to get our morning started off right by checking some of those boxes of the important things that we need to do. And then we all reconvene. And if, depending on whatever's on the map for the day, then we go do that. So what I'm trying to say is like, if you want to give your kids 30 minutes of screen time while you bang out some sort of hit workout in your garage or do something or go for a run or a walk, or that's great. Like, good for you. Your kids, they're not going to perish if they get a little bit of screen time during a much more outdoorsy period of time when they'll probably be in the sun the rest of the day. That's my real answer. It's like, just give them a tablet and go work out. You're all going to be better.
You will all be better. And that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of just like digging into why you actually need this during the summer and thinking about, like, I always encourage clients, like, I want you to think about a day where you don't work out. How do you show up? How does that impact your relationships? How does that impact your fuse, right? Is your fuse shorter or longer? Guessing it's probably shorter, right? So you got to put the energy in so that you can give it out.
Yep. Okay. Another avatar. Let's call him the mountain athlete person. Like it's summertime. I'm getting my bike, or I'm going to hike all the time. What do you tell those people? Or run, or whatever it is. I'm going to go outside.
Love it. And all of those things are better if you keep some strength as part of your routine. So that's what I was saying, like, adjust the expectation, but your strength workout is going to make your mountain biking better. Your strength workout is going to make your running better. Like, it all goes. So you're just adjusting the level of how much you're doing the thing, but you still need to involve a little bit of it, even if it's one day a week and you get into the gym and you choose like a full body day, right? Mm-hmm. Like, but you still should, again, keep that routine enough. And what's the mindset? I'm supporting the activity that is really joyful to me, right? And something that brings me a lot of enjoyment by doing the strength workout.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. And I've been doing that myself the last month or 6 weeks or so, because at the gym, we typically do our more strength-based days on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we have a build program where we are doing it's an all lifting program, even though it's within the classes that typically have a conditioning aspect too. So I've just been doing the build program, but then on the Tuesday and Thursdays, I've been riding a bike or doing a long hike with the dog or whatever. So those become my long conditioning days, Tuesday, Thursday outside. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday are I retain those as strength days. So don't quit the gym because you like to ride a bike.
All right. So one more avatar. The parent who also works, an 8 to 5, a 9 to 5 job. They want to spend some time on the lake this summer. They don't want to miss summer just being in an office. They're usually like a 4:30, 5:30 workout person, PM. What do you say to them?
I get in the weeds on what their kids' ages are and because my obvious easy answer is morning, like get in at 6. But then it's like, okay, some people live out in the valley or they have kids that need to get ready or blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of options. I think I'd be really stunned if I couldn't sit down with somebody and they open the kimono on their schedule and everything else. And I said, okay, this is what your options are. You can work out in the morning. You can work out at noon. You can do twice a week in the afternoon. Like, I don't know. I think or Saturday morning at 9 or 8 or 9, like go get in the gym. There's tons of opportunities. I think doing twice a week in the gym is going to be a thing that makes a big difference for somebody. Again, that's not a lifelong prescription for epic fitness, but in a season of more constriction or more looseness because you want to go play, twice a week's great. Keep it up.
Summer should be about maintenance, in my personal opinion, like maintaining the results that you've worked really hard for, right? So you don't lose traction in September.
How about the person, I'm too fat? It's June 17th, and I need a six-pack by next week.
Good luck. I don't know. No. Me too.
Yeah. No kidding. All right. Agreed. Same.
So one of the things, I have women start my program at all times of the year, right? But I love when people start their journey in the summer and in October. I had a couple gals start October 1st this year. Starting in the busiest season, starting in the season where you always make an excuse is the best thing you could possibly do, because the reason why you are where you are right now is because you haven't learned how to navigate those seasons. And I will say that wholeheartedly. I will die on that cross, because that's the stuff.
You can swear.
That's the shit that keeps you stuck is
Yeah.
because you keep quitting during those seasons. And the people that you look up to that have consistency, that have created lifestyle and routine, they figured that season out, and it's not perfection. I was like just talking about this for an hour. It has nothing to do with perfection. It has to do about like minimum dose to show up, realistic expectations, and understanding how you can still, and the belief pattern that you can still make change even without perfect conditions, even in seasons that look out of routine. You can still make a difference in your health. Because your health isn't something that you turn on and off. It's like something that fuels the life that you want to live.
Well, and I think that is the change. You might not actually make forward progress in the traditional sense, but not going backwards or sticking to the thing is the actual progress. Again, with my Spanish stuff, like that's where like in the moment in these months, it's like I'm not going forward. I'm not getting better.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not getting worse. Or I won't be as bad as I would be if I just said screw it and hop back on the horse in December.
Talk about this all the time. It's like staying in the same place, not losing ground is progress. Like that is to be celebrated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What else? There was another avatar, another situation I wanted to delve into, but I cannot remember. It's my ripe old age. It's getting to me.
Somebody's 40.
Oh, what about the it's too hot person? Sorry, I probably led in with a little bit too much.
Get a morning workout in. I don't know. It's hot for like 2 months and it's freezing cold for the rest. That's an excuse. That's your brain trying to be comfortable. It's telling you an excuse. Like I'm just gonna call what it is. It's an excuse. Do it anyway.
That was nice. That was much nicer. I think you're a wimp. It's like you're supposed to work out and then you're supposed to get warm. Like it's like you said, it's too hot, it's too cold, whatever. I don't know what to tell you.
Like those things are keeping you stuck. Like I'm just gonna be so honest there. That those beliefs and those like they are excuses.
I had somebody who walked into an appointment with me I think it was last summer.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, so there's no AC here? I said, no. She said, well, I'm not starting here. Okay. Probably better for the both of us. I get it. It's hot. It's okay. Fitness is hard.
Again,
Life's
solution,
hard.
go in the morning. Like go in the early morning. Get it done ahead of time. Like there's if it matters that much to you, you're ask yourself like, how can I?
But being such a wimp, it's 2025. Like you live in probably a nice air conditioned house. Maybe it's not air conditioned, whatever. You got a soft bed. There's food in the refrigerator. You can take a hot shower for infinity minutes. Like your life is pretty easy. If you're hot for 36 minutes while you're working out, it's still, you got it pretty good. That's okay. Think about the most wealthy king of all the kings and whatever didn't have it nearly as good as you did. So you can handle it. Especially if it means that you live for another 50 years.
Yeah, like this momentary discomfort, like what is that doing for your longevity? Quite a bit.
Yeah, also, everybody wants to get in the sauna. Nobody wants to work out when it's hot. It's very odd. Very perplexing to me.
That is so true.
What else? Okay, kids. Oh, kids, the other thing too, like back to the routine, we should probably wrap that loop up, but getting the activity out for the kids, like Garrison, we obviously own the gym. So it's a little bit more imperative for us, not imperative, but I think we see the importance of it, of him getting structured fitness. But that's a great option for kids in the summer. Like even if they're going to be playing and running and doing, and they have all sorts of camps, like getting them in the gym in the summertime when they typically don't have other sports going on is exactly what they need. And it will burn off some of the energy that's probably making you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah. And yes, we love sports, right? Like I love organized sports. It's fantastic. It teaches them so many things, but there will come a time in their lives where organized sports won't be an option anymore. You want them to have some familiarity of like what it looks like to build a workout routine outside of sports, right? Mm-hmm. I think about that all the time. It's like, well, Garrison will feel comfortable in the gym already. He'll know, like he'll just transition. I mean, he does think he's playing in the NBA, which maybe he will, maybe he won't. But if he doesn't, he has a really beautiful like foundation and background that can take him into the rest of his life and have this journey of fitness that, continues to pay forward.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also the social aspect of it too, where it's great for him to go play with his buddies, but it's great for him to get in the gym and like make it Nick's problem for an hour or Madeline's problem.
was so proud of himself when he came home yesterday and he was telling me about like the American kettlebell swings that he did and how strong he felt and how he's been able to go up in weight. Like it's all the same things that we love about working out and hitting milestones and that self-confidence builder that can happen for them in like an individual way that doesn't always happen in group sports either, which I think is really important.
Yeah. Okay, what about feeding those little hell raisers in the summer?
Oh man, yeah, like specifically what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, because the free range freezer is not necessarily ideal. I think I have an answer for this, but I want to hear yours too. Is again, they're usually at school from 8 to 2, 2:20 or whatever. And so there's some structure around that. When they wake up and it's just I'm here and they've got to sort out their own meals and snacks and they're hungry all the time and all that stuff. What do you do?
Have you seen that Instagram? It's like, did you go up in an ingredients house or like a snack house? Have you seen that? Okay, so like I grew up in an ingredients house. Like my mom would be like, "There's food," and you'd open it. It was like, it's like our house. Our house is an ingredient house. Like we have components to make a meal. I don't keep a lot of snacks in our house.
Right.
There's a very specific reason for that because I want him eating balanced, full meals. And what it's taught him to do is how to create those on his own. So we always have lots of options of a protein, a fiber, a fat, a carbohydrate. We have lots of easy ways for him to put those things together. But I have a very minimal amount of snack. I literally have cheese sticks in our house and some That's It bars. And that's about the extent of the snack foods that we have in our house. What that does is he eats a full meal, right? It's just what I would tell a client, right? He eats a full, balanced, nourished meal and he is full until the next meal. He's not constantly needing to pick and have more, right? And that helps me not lose my mind of how often he's in the kitchen, how many snacks he's asking for, how expensive it is. It's way cheaper to stock ingredients and teach them how to put the components together. And yes, here's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for that. And this is where you have to understand you can't have it all. My kitchen is dirtier. It just is. It's not always clean.
Your
It doesn't
kitchen?
always look good. Our kitchen. You asked me what I was doing for the food. So
Just
sorry.
curious if you had a different kitchen maybe
No.
that I wasn't aware of.
That'd be great. No, I'd like you in my kitchen, but not our child in our kitchen. But anyways, that's a sacrifice I'm okay to making because he's learning how to make food for himself. He's learning how to become self-sufficient. And again, it's a skill. Summer is skill setting summer. That's where we're at.
What are the ingredients I know you gave some examples, but quickly, what's your top 10 go-to snacks for your Hellraiser kids?
We always have some prepped meat on hand. That's just part of our life. So he knows how to make himself a taco or a quesadilla or something like that. Because we always have tortillas. We always have cheese. We always have some extra ground meat that you've made for lunch. We always have canned protein. So we've always got tuna. We've always got chicken. He has some go-tos that he'll make himself with some mayo and put it on a sandwich or put it in a wrap. Or he actually is a kid that loves protein. So a lot of times he will just eat the protein on its own, which is kind of weird, and I'm also kind of proud of him. I'm trying to think of Smokies. We have a lot of Smokies that we keep thawed. He can heat those up really easily. I'm trying to think what else he's
Apples,
been
peanut butter.
Apples, peanut butter, yogurt. Yeah, lots of cottage cheese. Really,
rice cakes.
I'll go I will die on this hill. Kid food is the worst thing we've done for this generation of kids. Kid food, adult food should be the same thing. They should learn how to eat in the same way that we eat. They should eat balanced meals. The reason, can I say something? The reason that your kids are snacking all the time is because they're not eating enough protein. It's the reason why adults snack all the time. It's because you're not eating enough of the right thing. Let's teach them how to eat enough of the right thing and then watch how the snacking disintegrates.
Got it. Love it. No, it's true. I mean, I see it firsthand, unless he's burrowing snacks under his bed, which I don't believe that he is. No, that's totally true. And I think that there's obviously on a spectrum of how comfortable you are with your kid in open flames. But, apple, peanut butter, cheese sticks.
Building a sandwich with a good quality turkey and some mayo and a slice of cheese and there's so many ways that your child can be self-sufficient and make a healthy choice.
Yeah, not kill themselves or burn your house down.
100%.
So, yeah. All right, cool. So to sum that up, the summer can be challenging for your fitness and your nutrition, but if you succeed at it, you will not only empower and improve your kid's life, but you will also improve your own life. Right?
Love it.
Now
Heck
we're going to go mountain bike. It's
Yes.
6 o'clock, and we both need to work out. So mountain biking it is. All right, guys. I don't know. I'll close this up with a thing, but I'm not sure how to get you out of here. So
All right. I'll get out.
see ya.
Can I just leave?
Leave.
Okay.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, if you need some extra help with this, you can find us at sandpointstrength.com, or you can just reach out to me directly at kenny@sandpointstrength.com. Also, don't forget, you can get 15% off of your supplements at Momentous Supplements at the website livemomentous.com. Discount code sandpointstrength, all one word.